Hello and welcome to White Album 2 from Leaf Studios. I will be covering both the introductory and closing chapters in this reading. White Album 2 is a sequel to White Album 1, obviously, a visual novel from about 20 years ago. It doesn't have much in common with its predecessor, save a few references and a couple of songs, so if you haven't seen White Album 1, you'll be fine. Well, White Album 2 is a highly rated visual novel. It has the fifth highest rating of VNs by English speakers on VNDB, and actually second highest on its Japanese equivalent. I am reading from the fan translation by Todo Kanai. Why did it turn out like this? I fell in love for the very first time and made an irreplaceable friend. These two wonderful things overlapped. The two joys together were supposed to bring forth even more happiness. Like something out of a beautiful dream. But then, why did it turn out like this? At last, it started falling. The sky had been on the brink of breaking down ever since we arrived at the airport, but in a moment's obstinance, it allowed the cold wind to freeze its tears into ice. The deafening roar of jet engines slowly fades away as it grows ever more distant. And now, as if to drown out their noise, the scattering powder snow descending from the heavens grows ever more dense. I look up at the sky overhead, searching for the source of the pure white snow. No, that's just an excuse. In truth, it's my attempt to look away from the reality before my eyes. More specifically, it's an attempt to completely avert my gaze from the airplane that's taking off at this very moment. At last, it started falling. It fell on the day we made our promise to always be together. The three of us. It fell when three became one, as two broke away. Haruki-kun. And it's falling today. Falling on the day when two, separated, became a pair of ones, as if to cover up all the pain and sadness. The snow always seems to pile up at our lives' crossroads. Let's go back. She is gone now, and only she and I remain. Come on, let's go back. There's nothing left here anymore, you know? Right. Contrary to my response, my legs refuse to move an inch. Can we at least go back inside the airport? Even if only for some hot coffee? Yeah, fixing my gaze towards the sky, I can't bring myself to turn around for the person calling out to me. I can't even bring myself to apologize for being so callous to her. Haruki-kun. I've already committed the most despicable act of betrayal against her, after all. It wouldn't be right not to see my despicable actions to their very end. Are you determined not to listen to anything I ask? It's not like that. That's why I don't want her to direct her tender words at someone like me.
If you're saying that you won't move from here, I'll do this. I'll keep doing it for as long as it takes to make sure that you don't freeze.
Huh? Against my back, I feel a gentle and warm sensation. 2 arms wrap around my chest in a tight and powerful embrace.
If you don't want this, if you think this means betraying her, and if it's just causing you to suffer more,
and then a burden crushes my heart.
Then quickly, move! Shake me off!
The warmth spreading across my back makes me freeze in place.
Hey, Haruki-kun.
The more genuine she is towards me, the more I feel like I'm being crushed under the weight of my sins.
If you stand here any
For
longer...
even now, she has remained this kind to me, enduring everything, pushing herself to the limit, and still forgiving everything I've done, holding back all of her own unease deep down inside, just for my sake.
I'll get the wrong idea, you know.
Yet,
I'll end up making the worst possible assumption that, overwhelmed by sadness, you'll come to accept me. You
even
know that.
At this very moment, I can't deny the truth that she is the only thing on my mind right now. At least, it started falling. Even on the day when I lose that which is most precious to me. Sure enough, these white flakes have appeared before me once again. The snow will cover up all of it. It will cover up the pain, the sadness, and the truth that I do not want to face. A white world abundant only in beauty expands before our eyes, leaving us there in its wake. But at the end of the day, snow is all that it is. Once it melts, all of the hidden truths and forgotten emotions it had been hiding will once again be brought into daylight for all to see. Dark and filthy, like mud trampled on over and over.
Oh, wait a second, you're leaving too?
Let me go. Besides, why am I the only one who's required to stay anyway? It's not just you. Look, we've still got 3 people here. No, you have 2 left. Though you had 6 people here just 10 minutes ago. It's a wrap. All gone. The club fell apart in mere moments.
Who's going to play the drums then? We've got no one else. Are you abandoning us too?
Then what about our bassist, the keyboard player? And what about the singer, who happened to be the first to leave?
Look, I'll think of something. It only took a month to gather those members anyway.
The school festival is next month, so tell me, how exactly do you plan on making it?
Maybe ask the guys who are already good at this? You know, the music students?
As if they'd be willing to mess around with the amateurs like us. Well, I don't know. Like, when I was in high school, I went to a high school with a fairly prestigious music program. I didn't go there for the music program, I just happened to be in the catchment area for the high school. So I just got scooped up in it, but we weren't elite. If amateurs wanted to play, we'd play with them. Like I was just average for the school, which apparently is pretty good, but I wasn't a virtuoso or a soloist or anything like that. I just managed to get by playing in the band, so I know a bit about being in a band. Not a rock band like the Light Music Club sounds like they're being, but I know some stuff about composition, about playing an instrument, that sort of stuff. I was in the woodwind section, but these sound like all string instruments, guitar, piano, and such. Bass is also stringed. I was in woodwinds, but still, a lot of the theory at least can transfer over. The band members here sound like elitist assholes. Most of the people in band in my high school, we played music because we enjoyed playing music, and if someone wanted to play music, we'd happily play music with them. And we teach them if they want to be taught, that sort of thing. We're not dragged down to their level, we try to hold them up to our level.
Yeah, I guess you're right. They only gather a few people in their circle and play obnoxiously difficult songs every year. They'd be inviting us to a dream world in all the wrong ways.
Those guys were always about classical stuff. It's such a waste at a festival. It just puts everyone to sleep. Hey, there is some pretty high energy classical stuff out there. It's just incredibly difficult to play. As a band, we played modern stuff, we played classical stuff, we played whatever the hell we want, and could get the rights for.
They don't know what it means to have fun. Always acting like every year is some kind of competition.
That is the wrong way to approach music. Music should be fun. They're not seeing the big picture. It's not like we're going for fine arts or something, you know?
I know, right?
Yeah, we're really in one hell of a mess here.
Well, now that this discussion is over, I'll be excusing myself.
When did you manage to derail the conversation?
Hang in there, Izuka. I'll be praying for your success, and I'll be sure to put a white flag on your grave.
Hold it right there, Fujishiro! You traitor! Come back here! Come back here right now! I'll haunt you! I'll curse you! I'm gonna get back at you one day! Please! Just come back! Jeez, they're all like this. They don't even realize that they'd be the stars of the school festival. That's why they're just giving up. What the hell is your school life for anyway? You can only do this when you're still young, you know? Hey, don't direct that aura of despair towards me. This isn't over yet. Good work. The conflict between the two of them seems to have died down, and thus only the two of us remained. Perhaps it's better to say the two of them were so caught up in the heat of it all, they completely forgot I was even here. I guess it was inevitable for things to turn out like this, though. To an extent. Hey, Haruki! What are we going to do? Looks like it's just you and me now. No, it's just you. Even though 6 people were here just 10 minutes ago. You traitor! Who's going to play the guitar if you leave? You're a guitarist too, club president. Only 2 guitarists remain. Right now, we seem more like a folk music club. Why would things end up like this? The festival is happening next month. It's because you decided things on your own without taking my advice into consideration. Well, Haruki, you lecture people way too much. For the record, Takeya, I did warn you from the very beginning, didn't I? You shouldn't have brought the girl here. Speak of the devil, there it comes again. That's right. A single underclassman started all of this. I never said that a female singer was a bad idea, but you should have seen this coming from a mile away. Yanagihara Tomo from Class 2C. She was the runner-up in the underground Miss Hosho High contest during the school festival last year, and is one of the favorites this year.
I know that, but she said that she really wanted to try, no matter what.
She apparently has plans to enter showbiz, and that seemed to be one of the reasons why she entered this year's contest with some extraordinary enthusiasm. What was the catch?
The burning passion deep inside of her was just dying to burst out, as if to say she wouldn't allow anyone to get in her way.
Simply put, it looked like she wanted to promote herself by going on stage during this year's festival. And what was the catch?
Well, I got a bit of an advance payment from her, you see.
Consequently, our light music club was subject to her influence. Every year, someone is nominated to be club president in order to gather volunteers in the 3 months leading up to the school festival. This year, it happened to be none other than my dearest friend, Izuka Takeya. Rare as it may be, you've been had, Takeya, and this is the result. And this one girl who was abruptly brought in caused friction among all the club members.
I guess you can't judge a woman by her looks.
To put it simply, she's the ultimate circle crusher. You did the same thing yourself, didn't you? She did everything in her power to persuade and manipulate members who were not satisfied with her.
You can tell I'm that kind of person from a single glance, so I'd say I'm justified.
How do I know just how far she had gone? Well, simply put, I was also one of her targets. Hey, there's nothing you're going to get out of convincing me, you know. Yeah, the word persuade is definitely an understatement. Had one of those in high school too. I just told her to go away and ignored her. She tried to break up me and my 2 best friends. My 2 best friends both had crushes on her. I didn't care. And she tried to hook up with me would be the best way to put it. I declined repeatedly. And yeah. Then she complained to one of my friends about how I was being mean and I wouldn't go out with her, etc., etc., etc. My response to him was, I knew you liked her, and bros before hoes, buddy. Truth was, I knew she was a manipulative bitch and I was not attracted to her. I dare not say in what way, however.
Haruki, what should we do?
Without a doubt, this is quite a mess.
We've already signed up to perform at the festival, and the program has to be submitted shortly. We have to pull ourselves together somehow.
Indeed, this is a truly serious situation.
I can't think of anyone who'd help us make it happen. You know anyone?
I don't, unfortunately.
Of course not. But bowing my head and begging the music students isn't really an option either.
Would they condescend to us and pick us apart bit by bit before actually refusing? Or would they toss us aside with a single word, I wonder?
What should we do?
You're in quite the predicament, aren't you? Between a rock and a hard place.
Haruki, You're not worried at all. You're treating it like it's someone else's problem.
What?
Perish the thought. I can tell by the song you're playing right now. Actually, you're doing that on purpose, aren't you?
Oh no, not at all. My body's just moving on its own.
Oh, forget it. I was stupid to think I could rely on you to do all the work.
Wait,
That was your intention all along?
I'll find them for sure! An expert bassist, a genius drummer, a brilliant keyboardist, and a beautiful singer.
So, you really haven't learned anything from this, have you?
See ya! I won't let you join us even if you come crying and begging later.
And just like that, I find myself alone in Music Room 1, which we can only use twice a week. Only a month and a half left, since we can only practice here another 10 times. The situation really has devolved into a pure blank slate. What should we do? Truth be told, I was only pretending to be indifferent in front of that irresponsible, carefree club president. With that being said, in one way or another, I expected something like this would happen, even though I was hoping it wouldn't. It was almost finished, too. The singer may have been someone akin to a calculating scientist who balanced the friendships among us guys on a scale, but even so, if I had her popularity, good looks, and silver tongue, I could probably achieve my goals rather easily as well. This really is a big problem. On an October evening in late fall, with the school festival happening soon next month, Kitahara Haruki of Hojo High School, Class 3E, could only let out a deep sigh out of everyone else's sight.
You're changing your prediction?
Yeah, I'm changing my vote to the second year Yanagihara from very high to high. That aside, being an executive committee member for the school's festival Miss Hojo High in all but name, one needs to resolve to use even a drawback like this to their advantage in the information war.
You were the one saying that Ogiso's winning streak might be broken the third time around, though. What's with this turn of events?
Rules are living things. Predictions I made yesterday may be absolutely useless today. We have to deal with the fact that information changes on a daily basis.
So, there are no worthy challengers this year either then?
Come on, weren't you listening? The predictions I make today may be useless tomorrow.
Well, still. Personally, I have no objections to Ogisa having such a large lead.
I can't help but agree. Hojo High School's festival takes place on the same day as Hojo University's festival, right next to our campus. The university's festival gets swarmed every year, not only by local visitors, but also by those from outside the prefecture. As such, it's a given that our own festival is pitifully small in comparison, since our high school is merely affiliated with and shares the university's name. Nevertheless, we managed to drag our spillover visitors from the neighboring university through whatever means necessary, from luring them in to having them think we're some rest stop. This makes the turnout every year fairly decent. Among other things, there are some cunningly placed signboards within the university, and, in a sense, the enthusiasm surrounding the Miss Hojo High contest is greater than anything on the university's campus. For us, anyway. The actual Miss Hojo University event steals the stage on the last day of the university's festival each year, and has transformed into an event that even attracts the press. However, merely being affiliated with the university, we are not allowed to have the kind of autonomy which they hold.
we had to consider public criticism, the decisions made by staff, and the fact that the school directors never formally approved the housing of our own beauty pageant, except the high school students had reached that rebellious age. Pretending to concede, they shifted their efforts underground. And so, those upperclassmen that smoldered underground, the organizers of the school festival executive committee, opened up Miss Hojo High behind the scenes. That happened 10 years ago. Since it's an antisocial tradition, it's no wonder it's being passed on for generations now. That's just plain common sense in this world. It lacked stage events and a swimsuit competition, an underground beauty pageant where regular attendees of the school festival are encouraged to vote for their favorite girl, based on pamphlets with photos that are distributed on the day. Given that it was hardly anything spectacular, the students' regulations and the campus's tacit consent had clued in that it was a failure in the making. On top of that, the champion that was crowned when I enrolled has still not been dethroned. Well, putting all of that aside, morning, day after day, you're exactly 5 minutes late. Have you ever considered that if only you arrived 5 minutes earlier, you wouldn't have to hear that unpleasant personal lecture of his? Well, just keep that in the back of your mind. Now then, let's work hard today, shall we? In the late autumn, the neighboring student does not a single thing.
Okay, now turn this way and smile.
Naturally, having won consecutively for the last 2 years, we understand you have high hopes for winning again this year. Are you feeling enthusiastic going into this? I'll work hard without forgetting my original goal then. Do you have any rivals this time? Anyone you're wary of?
Next is... Sorry, could you turn that way? I'd like to get a profile shot too.
Sure.
Anyone participating as my rival, then. Right, and to finish up, could you give us a short self-introduction, please? Your introduction alone will be uploaded to the website, so I'd like you to speak directly into this.
A voice recorder?
We'll only be uploading it onto the Hojo School Network anyway, and right now the security's being set up, so this won't leak out. Of course, if you don't want to, just a text comment will do.
Mr. Executive Committee member?
Actually, he's on the committee. I'm just a helper.
I'm Hayasaka from Class E. Nice to meet you.
Oh, is that so? Well, you see...
There you are, Haruki. Did you get permission for the rugby team to stand?
I already sent a letter yesterday, explaining all the details to the club president.
Alright, thanks. Sorry for bugging you all the time.
Sorry for getting distracted. So, where were we again?
Listen, I'm pretty sure saying this right now seems really inexcusable. This year, I'm going to have to withdraw from the contest.
Why?
Do you mean that you've never really liked events like this from the very beginning? But you entered last year and the year before.
My friends simply wrote my name down. I was really reluctant to do this from the start.
Even if you say so, you've won 2 years in a row since enrolling. What's this all about now?
Well, hold on, Chikashi.
Haruki!
Hey, Ogiso.
Yes?
You see...
I found you, Kirahara-kun. How's the pamphlet proofreading going?
It'll be finished tonight. You can make the request to the printing shop this coming Monday.
Thank you. I'm in your debt. But be sure to bring it tomorrow morning.
Once I've worked out the details. Sorry, I got distracted again.
Not at all. That's fine.
The entry requirements state that people can enter personally or by proxy, but only with consent, of course. If you don't like it, Ogiso, we can revoke your entry.
Huh?
Hey, that's going to be a problem.
Whether you're from the executive committee or the student council, you can't force people to participate. In the end, the school festival is really just a festival, remember?
There you go again.
I'm just a helper, so I've tried my best not to butt in.
Well, you're butting in right now, full force. In fact, you're doing everything by yourself.
That's because I couldn't stand watching you guys act like that. There's less than 2 months until the festival. How can you guys be so carefree?
You worry too much, man.
Anyway, let's get back on topic. Forcing people to participate is off limits. Any objections? Besides, I'm sure Ogiso's got her own share of worries. She'd be troubled if she became too famous.
Oh, Kitahara. Sorry about this, but could you make sure this gets to Nishiyama? He's sick at home today.
I'll give it to him on my way home. I just need to drop it off, right?
Sorry, tomorrow's the deadline.
So then, what happens if he stays home tomorrow? Fine, I'll be sure to pick it up as well.
Really? Can I leave it to you? I'm really grateful. I'll be counting on you then.
I'm sorry, it just keeps happening.
Not at all. It's fine.
Anyway, we'll revoke your entry. I assume you're fine with that, Chikashi?
I guess.
I apologize for my lack of courtesy. See ya.
Sorry, Ogiso.
Huh?
Alright, on to the next one. Let's finish up as much as we can today.
Let's see. The next one is Yanagihara from Class 2C.
How about we call it a day?
What happened to that pointless sense of responsibility of yours just now, huh?
Executive committee member?
What is it?
The helper, that is.
Me?
Well, you see,
Yeah?
I'm renouncing my withdrawal. I'm Ogiso Setsuna from Class 3A. Let's do our best together this year, too.
Eh?
What?
You know what? I do have some responsibility in my case. As someone who's chosen,
You sure you're not forcing yourself?
I am, but it's no big deal, relatively speaking.
Really?
And what's your reason for going out of your way to tell that to Haruki rather than me?
Well then, goodbye. See you tomorrow.
Yeah, see you tomorrow.
Later.
Was all of that just on a whim?
I seriously respect you, man. The way you can persuade someone just by turning your back to them.
Did I really look that dejected? Good work. Oh, it's just you, Takeya. Where are the other members? Thank you for not holding back the sarcasm, oh great friend of mine. Music Room 1, which we could only use twice a week. This person loitering around without preparing for anything right now. The president of the Light Music Club, a student from the same grade who's been in the class next to mine for the past 2 years, is an inseparable friend of mine. So, how'd it go? No dice. Absolutely nothing. The good ones are all more or less participating elsewhere. Figures. It's been 2 days since our club essentially fell apart. Speaking from experience, one should never rely on Takeya to try and mend friendships destroyed over a woman. However, there he was, running around trying to find new members. Finding an expert bassist, genius drummer, brilliant keyboardist, and a genuinely beautiful female singer may be nothing more than a pipe dream. So, why aren't you just looking for people who are somewhat experienced with the bass, drums, keyboards, and a somewhat cute singer? Though, for reasons beyond my control, it seems it was all pointless after all. You've gotta dream big, you know? What we're talking about right now isn't the dream of a magnificent future. It's about the reality of how we need to perform in a month. Let's just give up. Are you man? What kind of pronunciation was that just now? It's only been 2 days since the problem came up. It's absurd to give up so soon. It's been 2 days, and there's about a month and maybe 10 days left till the main performance. The only conclusion I'm drawing is that it was hopeless from the start. Maybe I've just been discouraged by these long past 2 days. But Takeya, you've been so fired up about making the most of these 3 years. That was also his reason for dragging me into the club as a backup member, even though I had no experience playing the guitar at all until 3rd year. Indeed, I was! Even came up with signs for when we're on stage. Like, I'd put my thumb up like this, and it would be a sign to Keiko, meaning I'm playing this just for you. Ha! Clapping would be a sign to Reina. Walking up to the front while waving would be a sign to you. Not you, but a girl named you. And finally, playing with the guitar facing up, the sign to Nozomi. It would have all made such a great compilation. What exactly are you trying to compile here? Backstage, after the performance, would have been terrifying. I've told you this before, Takeya. So, I'll spell it out clearly for you today. You've spelled it out many times for me already, so just stop bothering me already. To begin with, the one you really love is... Even if you are my best friend, I won't hear any further than that. Takeya? Besides, it'll only burden you further, Haruki. I don't really mind. I'm only participating in what I want to do. Sure, you're like that now, but as soon as the people around you run into problems, you're off taking charge of everything. That's also something I do of my own volition. I'm amazed that I can't even find the words to deny that. You're not only helping us, you're also doing things for the festival committee, the executive committee, being the admin of the school webpage, being the class representative, even on the library committee. Besides the fact that you're not lending a hand. I'm starting to feel horrible here, so please leave it at that. Tonight's schedule runs through my head from him simply listing all of my positions. I'll be lucky if I even get 2 hours of sleep tonight. You know, I may seem like I'm rather self-centered and only care for myself, but I still make sure to watch out for my best friend, too. I suppose I do agree with the first half of what you said. But with that said, I don't plan on completely denying the latter half of it either. It's true that he was being run ragged by girls at about the same frequency as the other 2 primal urges, but in his case, he didn't seem to hold any grudges. And he even had the thoughtfulness to introduce me to his exes, though I'm not sure it's appropriate to call that being thoughtful, at any rate. There's no doubt that he looked out for me. And besides, up until last year, He wasn't like the people that had come and gone. What is that? I don't know. It just happened to match up. Takeya pokes his head outside the window, leaning his ear towards the neighboring classroom, towards the piano that's playing in sync with my guitar. The first time I noticed was about 2 months ago. I wasn't part of the actual group that was set to perform during the festival. I wouldn't join in when the club was practicing, and then they'd leave. I'd end up practicing a lot on my own. That piano accompanied me many times, until I finally got into shape, and when it was pleased with my form, it accompanied my music. It was a mysterious sound that would pull pranks on me, guide me, and even show me my weaknesses, simply through hearing it. He doesn't always play the piano. Sometimes it's the bass or the drums, though last week he caught me off guard by suddenly playing the saxophone.
Are they doing band practice in there as well?
Who knows? I never heard them play together. Seems like he's alone, which is precisely why he intervenes when I'm alone. Seems like he has a lot of spare time.
Still, he's pretty good.
That was also par for the course. No matter what instrument or song, he never missed a note. He probably did, you just aren't good enough to notice. And I'm willing to bet it's the girl beside him in class, the one that got yelled at by the teacher. Perhaps he's had a lot of practice. He certainly does seem to have a lot of spare time. Hey, Takeya, that gives me an idea.
Forget it.
I haven't even said anything yet, though.
Music Room 2 is the music students' territory. They're not going to get involved in our nonsense.
Elitist pricks. I see. The answer he had prepared was far too comprehensive.
I swear, the music students are all like feudal lords. They only have a single class for each grade, yet they have the other 2 music rooms all to themselves.
Hojo High School has 3 music rooms. Music Room 1 and 2 are here in the main building. There's an annex opposite of us, connected by 2 sections where there's an extra large 3rd music room. However, all the clubs have to share the cramped Music Room 1. Unlike the other 2, which are reserved only for the music students' classes, the 8th class of every grade. It goes without saying that it's a haven for people who have hopes of getting into a music career. We also have to think of the school's interest as well, so there's nothing we can really do. But there is no way us regular students would be satisfied with this state of affairs. Hence, the regular and music students have traditionally been at odds with each other. Yeah, back in my school, like, if we weren't having an active practice, like music class or the after-school rehearsals, you could use the studio, like the soundproof studio or the room if you wanted. We didn't chase out any of the amateurs.
Since the girls were all like spoiled princesses, I figured they'd be easy to trick. But before long, they would start droning on about lessons or competitions or whatever.
Oh, I suppose that's not the only serious grievance in his particular case.
Well, that aside, my chances were pretty slim to begin with, especially since I'm in 3rd year already. Things have gotten pretty tough.
Really?
And it's always about that Matsukawa guy. Him getting 3rd place in the string national competition was a pretty big deal, apparently.
From what I saw at my school, winning music awards didn't get you Like, it got you some attention across the music students, but that's about it. Didn't you think Matsukawa-kun's the one next door? You didn't check to see if it was him? You two seem to be always at it. It's locked tight. Not even a crevice in the door, and the curtains are always drawn shut. That's pretty shy. Maybe he's doing secret special training? Who knows? If he was doing some secret special practicing, he wouldn't do it in a room where people could hear him. They probably have a soundproof studio in the third room anyways. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't curious. Even more so with him trying to hide behind the Iron Curtain like he is. And although not as perfect, his bass, drums, and saxophone all hold up well. If he really is doing this all by himself, he's impossibly multi-talented. Maybe not a prodigy of an artist, but certainly an amazing performer. Though I can't really tell, since we've never actually met. Hojo High's music students are not to be underestimated either. Still, I already knew, but you're really not getting any better. That's because you just won't shut up. This guy can't be my best friend. No way. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please press the like button. If you want to be notified when more goes live, press the subscribe button and ring the bell. I'm sure everyone knows how to use YouTube by now, but still. Anyways, some answers to frequently asked questions I get. For example, why do I remove all the Japanese voice acting? There are two reasons. First, it makes my fair use defense stronger. The less of the original you use, the fairer the use. Secondly, originally, the idea behind this channel was to provide an audiobook form for visual novels for people with poor or no vision, or otherwise unable to read them. These videos would be useless for that purpose if all the lines didn't get read. Why have visuals at all if this is for blind people? Well, not everyone who is blind legally is without sight completely. Also, it makes it accessible for people who are illiterate or have difficulties reading for other reasons than poor visions, say like dyslexia, for example. Also, if you saw an ad on this, I don't monetize these. So that's either from someone copyright claiming the video or YouTube themselves putting an ad on me. Ads on this channel do not go to supporting me.